Hey, it's Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense. Let's resume our playlist called Signs in Medicine and talk about the cardinal signs of inflammation: redness, hotness, swelling, pain, loss of function, and let's get started. What are these cardinal signs of inflammation? Rubor, calor, tumor, dolor, functio. Let's say this is in Latin. In English, it's redness, hotness, swelling, pain, loss of function. I feel like a freaking therapist. There was pain, there was resentment, and there was loss of erectile function. Whatever. Anyway, the word rubra in medicine means red. For example, polycythemia vera was known in the past as polycythemia rubra vera. Rubra because these are red. And what does poly mean? Many. And what does cyto mean? Cell. What does emia mean? Blood. What does vera mean? True, because it's not relative polycythemia. So basically you have a truly high level of red blood cells in your blood. Next, the word calor means hotness. What is the definition of calorie? Look it up. It involves some heat. Swelling is tumor. Of course, tumor is a freaking mass, and mass is swollen by definition. Pain is dolor, and if you remember tic douloureux, by the way, what is the modern name of tic douloureux? It's a disease, and by the way, it's very painful. Imagine my shock. Let me know in the comment section what is tic douloureux today, and how do you treat it? Acute inflammation versus chronic inflammation. We're talking cardinal signs of acute inflammation. Okay, what cells predominate here? Polymorphonuclear cells. How about chronic? Mononuclear. Polymorphonuclear, mononuclear. What do you mean by polymorphonuclear? Ben, baby. Basophils, eosinophils, and most importantly, neutrophils. What do you mean by mononuclear cells? You have lymphocytes, you have plasma cells, which come from the B lymphocytes, and you have the freaking monocytes, but the most important two are lymphocytes and plasma cells. Today's topic is here. We're talking acute inflammation. If you remember my rheumatology playlist, we have compared between osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. In osteoarthritis, there is no systemic inflammation. Therefore, there is no cardinal signs of inflammation. There is no redness, hotness, swelling, pain, or loss of function. But rheumatoid arthritis, on the other hand, is an inflammatory systemic freaking arthritis. That's why you see the cardinal signs of inflammation. The joint is red, hot, swollen, painful, and there is loss of function. You get the stiffness, the swan neck deformity, Bottigne's deformity, atlantoaxial subluxation, and much more. Let me do something that has never been done before and compare between the neutrophils and the platelet, because this comparison is so profound and relevant. The endothelial cells are the cells that line your blood vessel. Of course you know this. What you do not know that they contain a glue bottle. The glue bottle is known as the Vibel Palladi bodies. And what is the glue inside the bottle? It's the P-selectin and the von Willebrand factor. P-selectin is the glue that will adhere the endothelium to the neutrophils for the sake of acute inflammation. Von Willebrand factor is the glue that will adhere the platelet to the endothelium for the sake of platelet plug formation. Alright, now what are you trying to achieve here? I'm trying to make my neutrophils leave the blood vessel and go into the interstitial tissue so that they can fight the bacteria here. Wonderful. So, do you want to bring in more neutrophils or less neutrophils? I want to bring in more military members in order to fight the nasty bacteria. Therefore, you need to vasodilate the vessel to bring in more of these doozy neutrophils. But in case of platelet plug formation, what are you trying to achieve? I'm trying to prevent bleeding. So you better vasoconstrict the vessel. And that's a very important point. So in acute inflammation, you need to vasodilate and then they will adhere. What do you mean by they? The neutrophils and the endothelium. What is the glue? P-selectin. What's the name of the receptor? Sialyl-Lewis receptor on the neutrophil. Okay, on the other hand, platelet plug formation, you need to vasoconstrict. Awesome. And then they will adhere. What do you mean by they? The Vibel Palladi body, which is the glue secreted by your endothelial cells and the megakaryocytes platelets. And the receptor is called the GP1B. This is medicine at a higher level. Unlike the trash that you hear from your professors, or as I like to call them, the PowerPoint worshipping cult. I'm joking, by the way. Again, in acute inflammation, you need to vasodilate to maximize the amount of neutrophils that are being recruited into this location and therefore into the tissue to fight the bacteria, and then they will adhere. P-selectin with Sialyl-Lewis receptor. Any receptor in your body is made of protein. Okay, I've vasodilated my vessel. Now what? Neutrophils are gonna migrate from the vessel into the interstitial space or into the tissue in order to fight the nasty bacteria. You need the neutrophils for infection, necrosis, burns, foreign bodies, radiation, and these are the pus cells that secrete the pus. When you compare acute inflammation to primary hemostasis, which one is faster? Of course, this is important for survival. I need to do it like within milliseconds, otherwise I'm gonna bleed to death. But here I can take my time. How did the vessel constrict here? It's intrinsic autonomic myogenic response. No one is influencing the constriction. It's just when you cut the vessel, it contracts. This is what it does. It's natural. But the vasodilation requires some mediators such as histamine and nitric oxide. And that's why you have redness, hotness because of the vasodilation. How do I recruit employees? How do I recruit neutrophils? You need neutrophil chemotactic factor. I love this word. What does chemo mean? Chemical. What does taxi mean? Taxi. Recruiting. Movement. Oh. So, basically I'm attracting the neutrophils by chemicals. What kind of chemicals? 1, 4, 5, 8, 17, and alpha. Interleukin 1, leukotriene B4, C5A, interleukin 8, Th17 and interleukin 17, TNF alpha. These are the most important inflammatory mediators. You need to memorize every single word here. Acute inflammation, what's clacking? So basically vasodilate, and then these neutrophils will start to roll over the endothelium, and you have the P-selectin sialloly or A-selectin sialloly. Okay, now they adhere to the endothelium, and then they will marginate and migrate into the interstitial space. If you happen to be in the small intestine, you have something called LPAM1 and MADCAM1. Who named these things? Watch my video on vedolizumab because it targets these proteins. Why redness? Because of the vasodilation. Why hotness? For the same freaking reason. Why swelling? Because of the increased vessel permeability giving you an exudate. Pus is an exudate. Pus is non-pitting. But a transudate is the fluid of edema, and transudate is pitting. Huge difference. Pain. Why pain? If it starts with a P, it has to do with the B or the P. Bradykinin or PGE2. PGE2, prostaglandin E2, has two functions. Number one is fever and pain. And then loss of function. Imagine that I have abscess or cellulitis in my hand. Do you think I will have like a good grip? No. Let's say I have rheumatoid arthritis and I have swelling in my knees. Do you think I will have a robust range of motion? It ain't gonna happen. Some clinical examples. If you have watched my videos on lung infections, we have talked about lung abscess before. What's the definition of abscess? Collection of pus. Whenever you see abscess, you can say thank you to your neutrophils. They are trying to fight the nasty bacteria. Abscess in the lung is different. Why? Because the lung contains air. So you get what? You can get cavitation and liquefactive necrosis because the tissue is soft. Do not be shocked if the patient starts coughing up frank pus or sputum that has been tinged with some pus, and you see the cardinal signs of inflammation. One of them is fever. That's the hotness, baby. In my first video in the pulmonology playlist known as Clinically Oriented Anatomy of the Thorax, we have compared between three diseases: aneurysms, metastasis, and tuberculosis of the vertebra known as Pott's disease. Aneurysm is gonna press on the body and disc. But the atrophy will only happen at the body. Why? Because the body is vascular, and this is called pressure atrophy. What do you mean by pressure atrophy? I press on the body, the vertebral body, and I will deprive it from its blood supply. However, the intervertebral disc is avascular to begin with. You cannot deprive it from blood supply if it did not have a blood supply to begin with, doofus. So aortic aneurysm will damage the vertebral body, not the disc. Metastasis will damage the body, but not the disc. Why not? Because metastasis is coming through the blood. That's how it reaches your vertebral column. Oh, and the disc is avascular, therefore it's not affected metastasis. However, tuberculosis is different. Tuberculosis has the nasty granuloma known as the tuberculoma, which is a type 4 hypersensitivity reaction, caseating granuloma, by the way, because if you look at the center of the granuloma, you see caseating necrosis, you see 0 nuclei. That's how you know they're dead. Pycnosis, karyorrhexis, karyolysis. Therefore, no nuclei. When you see no nuclei, it's a freaking caseating granuloma. Early tuberculosis will affect the body only. Why? Because tuberculosis comes through the blood. Whether this is miliary tuberculosis or secondary tuberculosis in a patient with weakened immunity. So early just affects the body. Late, the body and the disc. Tuberculosis is nasty. The granuloma is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and destroying everything. It does not care about blood supply or no blood supply. If I am immunocompromised, my abscess will be cold. What does that mean? No redness, no hotness. Why not? Because I'm immunocompromised. I have no pus cells and therefore no pus and therefore no cardinal signs of inflammation. I'm trying to make an abscess, but my abscess sucks. It is cold. That's not cool. TB osteomyelitis affects lung bones. It is always secondary tuberculosis because primary tuberculosis only affects 4 organs. Do you know what are these 4 organs? Let me know the answer in the comment section. In other words, bones are not one of these 4. That's why it's always secondary. Purely osteolytic, not osteoblastic. It's destroying everything. And as you know, when I say tuberculosis, you can say caseating granuloma. When I say histoplasmosis, caseating granuloma. Blastomycosis, caseating granuloma. Coccidioidomycosis, caseating granuloma. But sarcoidosis, non-caseating granuloma. How about giant cell arteritis or temporal arteritis? Usually non-caseating granuloma. Write this down. TB osteomyelitis of the spine or POT disease. Where? Lower thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. Where exactly? Antero-inferior part of the vertebral body. Early, it spares the lamina and the spine and just and early, it's only the body. But late, it will involve the body and the disc, and then it will go to the pelvic venous plexus, and then retrograde venous spread, that's a hematogenous spread, and it will reach your perivertebral venous plexus. This is how you get POT disease. It's osteolytic, it destroys everything, leading to kyphosis, scoliosis, or kyphoscoliosis. If I have weak immunity, I get cold abscess. The cold abscess can spread to the psoas muscle, and I get a psoas cold abscess. Or it can spread to the anterior spinal ligament, and I get cold paraspinal abscess. This is very important. It can fracture my vertebrae, and I will get upper motor neural lesions in my lower extremities, myelopathy, radiculopathy, and paraplegia. Spasticity, positive Babinski sign bilaterally, and spinal deformity such as kyphoscoliosis. What is a cold abscess? It's an abscess with no redness, no hotness, which means my immunity is weak, which means I have immunodeficiency. What kind of immunodeficiency? It could be inherited, it could be acquired. Here is a clinical pearl for you. Autoimmune diseases in general are more common in females, but immunodeficiency diseases, whether inherited or acquired, are more common in males. How about Bruton agamaglobulinemia? Males. Severe combined immunodeficiency. Males. Job syndrome. Males. Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. Males. How about HIV/AIDS? Males. If I have any of these, I can develop a cold abscess. Acute phase reactants. What are these? These are markers that are elevated if you have acute inflammation. Can you give me examples? Sure. ESR, CRP, interleukin-1, interleukin-6. By the way, steroids such as prednisone, prednisolone, dexamethasone, betamethasone, whatever, inhibit interleukin-1, especially interleukin-1 beta. And that's why steroids are anti-inflammatory drugs. Ferritin and fibrinogen are acute phase reactant. That's why if I have inflammation, ferritin will be high, fibrinogen will be high. Please do not rush and diagnose me with anemia of chronic disease or hemochromatosis just because my ferritin is high. My ferritin could be high simply because I have an acute inflammation. Treat the acute inflammation, it's gonna normalize. Same thing with fibrinogen. Do not diagnose me with hyperfibrinogen and anemia just because my fibrinogen is high. It could be simply because of an acute inflammation. This is very important. Fever and leukocytosis, of course, means there is something going on. Please watch my video on ESR and CRP to learn more about these acute phase reactants. Hey medicosis, in the era of the internet, why are most medical student doofuses still? The means of learning are abundant. It's the desire to learn that is scarce. If you like this video, you will love my antibiotics course. It has 40 videos about antibacterials, antivirals, antifungals, and antiparasitic medications. Go to medicosisperfectionalis.com. The next 9 students only can use discount code HALF to get a 50% discount towards anything on my website. Happy New Year! Please subscribe, hit the bell, and click on the join button. You can support me here or here. Go to my website to download my premium courses today. Thank you for watching. As always, be safe, stay happy, and study hard. This is Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense.